Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado, and this is my buddy Puccini. He's helping me today and I've got a very fun card for you. It's a fun fold and it's using some of the free paper from Sale-A-Bration. So, and it is a thanks card, so let's just get started. Here is my card. And it's a fun fold in that this flap is scored and folded back on itself and then tied down, so glued down tight, and then this piece sits on top, and when this opens, the piece behind it that you put your message on is directly behind that piece and can't be seen from the front. And you could, on one version of this I did put another score line down here and glued this piece down, and this piece only opened from that part. But this one I made so that it fully opened. It gave us a little bit more room for our message. So that is the card that we're making today. And what you need to do this is we need a piece of pale papaya that is 11 inches by 4 1/4 inches, scored at 5 1/2. And then what you do is from that score line, let me put it on a ruler, and so you put it on the score line at 1 1/4 inches, and you put a little tick mark right at the top of your card here. So you can measure it in 4 1/4 from the end and put your tick mark, or 1 1/4 from the center, and you get the same tick mark. And then you're going to score that from there all the way down to that corner. Then when you burnish this, you'll fold your card this way and go ahead and burnish your fold for your card. Then you will fold on this line again in 1 1/4 inches to this corner. And so on this one, it's very, very important that you get this precisely right. So you're going to want to make sure that you've got your score lines put together so that your card is absolutely parallel. And you've seen me use my scoreboard or my trimmer to put the card in here this way to get it exactly along the fold that you want, and then burnish that fold. Same thing with this. So what I'm going to do is put this in my trimmer like this, fold it along here until I get it right up against that edge, and then I'm going to come down here and burnish this way and burnish this way so that there is absolutely no gap, and that is perfect along that bottom edge. And on this one, it shows if it's not. So you want to make sure that you get those burnish marks exactly right. And there we have the basic front of our card. And really, this card is quite simple. So I have here, the colors were very vanilla that went along with this. And what I'm going to do is set this piece down. And this has been cut 3 1/2 by 3 1/2, so it's a square. When this is lined up on this score line here, this point here and this point here, and then you move it along the score line until you have the same margin all the way around your card, and that is set exactly right. I'm going to put just a little tick mark right there and just a little tick mark right there, so I know that's where that goes. Now then, on this, what we're going to do is, where's my ruler again? Here it is. Okay, so what I know is that I only want glue on 1/2 of that because the other half is going to be sticking out from here, and you don't want that gluing to the inside of your card. So I'm going to set my ruler mostly just as a guide from corner to corner as I put my glue down for this piece and add my seal only to the half of the card that is going to go on the bottom. Then I'm going to set this down on my tick marks that I've put in place and glue that piece of paper down. Then any pencil mark that might still be showing on either side of that can be erased. And there we've got it glued down, and absolutely no glue shows on this side. Okay, so there we go. Now, the Designer Series paper that I'm using on this is this absolutely beautiful free paper that we got from Sale-A-Bration, that is called Daffodil Afternoon, and it's got all of these beautiful florals in it. And I am using this paper right here. I fell in love with this pattern, and it's got the Very Vanilla, and it's got the Pale Papaya and a couple different kinds of greens on it. The color palette that matches this is enormous. Black, Crushed Curry, Daffodil Delight, Evening Evergreen, Flirty Flamingo, Mint Macaron, Mossy Meadow, Pale Papaya, Pear Pizzazz, and Very Vanilla. So lots of combinations that you can use with this, but I kind of like this Pale Papaya on this particular piece of paper. So there we've got our piece down here, and I'm going to burnish that from the inside one more time. I want this piece of paper to lay down pretty flat if I can get it to do so. And then what I'm going to do is add my seal on the inside of this card, and I'm going to seal this piece down. So along my fold line there, and as close up into this corner as I can get that seal, right up against the edge. And then I'm going to fold that in place right there against that bottom. And there we've got that fold all done. Now then, this piece of paper, let me look at my pieces here. Then I used a piece of this Designer Series paper, and it is cut. This was 3.5 by 3.5, and this is 2 3/8 by 2 3/8. So we just get the tiniest border around the edge, and that piece of paper is going to go down in front. And you'll see I learned from the first time that I made this card, because on my sample card there I used basic white. Didn't realize that I really needed Very Vanilla to be just exactly the right color here. So I'm going to put that in place with that tiny little margin all the way around, and that piece is done. Then I have a piece that is 1 inch by 4 1/4, and I'm going to center it on this side here from top to bottom so that it just fits. So on this, I'm going to use my silicone mat, and I'm going to put some seal on the back of this piece of paper, and then I used some of the Evening Evergreen ribbon, enough to go around that piece. So we need a piece that is, I'll measure this for you, it's going to probably be 5.5 inches. Yeah, almost 6. And I'm going to put that in place here on the back of my card, kind of in the center there. And I'm going to draw this piece down across the center of my piece of Designer Series paper, get that right in the center here, and anchor that down so that I have this piece of Designer Series paper to go down. I'm going to add a little extra seal on the top of that ribbon to make sure this stays put, and I'm going to center it on this piece here. I'll open this up so you can see and put it on here. So I'm going to center it on this piece here, which is going to leave me a little tiny border of the Pale Papaya on either side. So let me get that put into place here on my card. And there we go. Then the next piece is I used both the stamp set and the dies from Amazing Silhouette. And here's the Amazing Silhouette, and I used this beautiful butterfly silhouette for the inside of my card. And then I used the dies. So these are the two dies that I need. So you need a piece of pale papaya. This piece is 4 1/4 by 1 1/4. And then I think I have a similar piece of the Evening Evergreen, about that same size. This one is 4 by 1 1/4. So I'm going to put these two dies on my machine, and I will be right back. Okay, so here are my die pieces. And push this one out of here. There's my background piece for my thanks. And then here is my piece for the word itself. And I did that one in the Evening Evergreen. So there we go. So let's see. Let's do the stamping first. And for the stamping for this one, I used my Pale Papaya ink, and I have my stamp mounted here, this beautiful shadowy butterfly. And in the Pale Papaya, it's just a shadow, just a silhouette. I just love that idea. So I put one kind of up in this corner, and there we go. You can just barely see it. It's just wonderful. And then down here, another one. And there you go. There, I'll bring that up so you can see them. There are those shadow butterflies on this page. It's very subtle and very pretty. So that is all of the stamping. And then for these pieces, I just used my dot runner to put some adhesive on these letters, just like I'm doing here. And just on all the places. You can certainly use liquid glue for this as well. And then I like to take the webbing, the glue off the webbing, and you can always use your eraser when you're done. And this then goes right here. So I'm going to center the beginning of that letter, and then I'm going to just trace this around and put it in place on my background, just like that. It's that simple, that easy. I can't see any of my glue, but if you had some, if you used a gum eraser, you could take off any that show. And like I say on this one, feeling along here, I don't even feel any. So I think that's in pretty good shape. So the next thing I want to do is use mini dimensionals. Okay, so there's my letters all ready to go, and I put those on here at a bit of an angle for my thanks to run across that card. And then I made a bow to go on the bottom of that thanks. Snip off those edges and use a glue dot to put those in place, put that bow in place. So I'm just going to pick up a glue dot from here and put that down underneath the thanks. And I want that bow to stay put a little bit better. And so I'm going to use an additional glue dot underneath the loop on this side to encourage it away from my thanks. And then one more on this side to do the same thing. So I'm going to put down my glue dot and move that bow a bit over this way, and there we go. That is pretty much the inside of, or the outside of our card done with the exception of the jewels. So on the inside of the card, we have a couple of pieces yet. I cut a little piece of this designer series paper, and I think I like this little piece better. This piece is 2 3/4 by 1 1/2, and I thought rather than try to cover this entire back side, just placing this piece along the back here, draw your eye away from the fact that this is cut here and brings a little bit of the front into the inside. So I'm going to add some seal to the back of this piece, and I'm going to put that in place right here. And the only thing I've done is I made sure that one corner of this was on that diagonal line. I think that's very pleasing to the eye. Then we have the piece that we stamped that had the pale butterfly shadow. This piece that we did, and you can see how different it is. That's the stark white, and it really doesn't match the vanilla, and the vanilla matches much better. So I'm actually pretty pleased with the idea of the very vanilla. So I'm just going to add some seal to the back of my card and put that into place. And how I'm going to put it into place is like this. I'm going to add this piece by, this is the non-sticky side to a non-sticky side, and I'm just going to match up that corner there. So I know when I lay this down you won't be able to see it from the front because I can't see it from here, and it should be right behind there. I can feel it right up against the edge. Close my card and lay that down, and it should be in the perfect spot on the inside of my card. You can't see it from the front, and you open it and it's in exactly the right spot on the inside with that beautiful shadow die of those butterflies inside. Isn't that pretty? I just love the idea of this. So the last thing we have to do on this is just add some rhinestones. And I've got some rhinestones. I just dotted 5 rhinestones. Let's see if I can do this with my pick tool. Around on the card so that I added the decorations. Sometimes adding just a bit of sparkle just finishes something off so beautifully. And so there we are. I have 5 on the front. It adds that sparkle, and we have this. It's really a very simple card and pretty darn fast actually. So that is our card. Here is our original sample, and that is my project for the day. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, well, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Or you could join my team. I'm always looking to add to my team, and we have a lovely group of ladies. I don't have any guys on my team, so if you're watching your guide and you'd like to be on my team, you could be the first. Anyway, this is the project for the day, and let's see, right now there's two things. One is I have a monthly prize that I give to people who order through me. So to put yourself in my drawing for a $60 shopping spree on me, all you have to do is put an order of any size on my website, my store, lbedinger.stampinup.net. You get to it through my blog, www.inkandingenuity.com. And the measurements and the supplies are always listed just below the video. If you scroll down on your screen and click on the Show More, then it should show up the measurements and the supplies that I used to make today's card. Also, underneath the video is an opportunity to subscribe. And if you click the red subscribe word, then you also get a chance to click the bell. And when you click the bell, you get notified every time I put up a new video. And that way you don't miss any. Let's see, there's a join offer going through January and February during sale abration that is $125 worth of product for $99 plus 2 additional stamp sets. And so that's probably close to $175, $85, something like that for $99. It's a pretty good deal. So if you wanted to join Stampin' Up, even if it's just for the discounts, I'm happy to have you join my team and love to help people reach whatever goals they'd like to have with their join. All right, that's it for me, and I will be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye.